Hi everyone! We are beginning today's lesson with a review of making noises on the head joint so we can progress on to learning the first note on the flute. Now before we continue, I wanted to show you an alternate method for lining up your head joint on your lip. And this is called the kiss and roll method. And here's how we do this. This is a new technique for alignment. Make a face like you're going to kiss someone. And you're going to put that right in the middle of the hole, like this. And then we're going to roll out, like this. And boom, we're right in the right place. So listen, that gets us a good sound. So we're going to try that again. Put your mouth into a pucker, like you're going to kiss someone. Put your lips right into the middle of the hole, and then roll out, and you have your position. 3 steps, and there we are. So let's go through some of our exercises that we learned last time, and then we'll be ready to put the flute together and try our first note. So let's start with the 5-note exercise. Remember, that is 4 short notes and 1 long note. Take your time getting your flute into position, whichever method you prefer. And we're going to uncover the head joint, and we're going to try this exercise 4 times. This is what it sounds like. We're going to do that 4 times all together. Position. I'll count to 4 and then we'll start. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Take a minute to recover your breath, and then we're going to cover the end and do the same thing. Remember, this will create a lower sound, so you don't need to blow quite as hard. Catch your breath. And let's position the flute. I'll try the kiss and roll method this time. 1, 2, 3. I'll count to 4 again, and then we'll start. Make sure you're completely covering the end, that no air is leaking out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our next practice exercise is long tones that we talked about last time. This is where we take a deep, deep breath. Remember, you're using the bottom of your rib cage to really fill up your lungs. And you're going to start blowing, and you're going to blow for as many seconds as you can. Now, I'm not going to do this part with you because your time is going to be different than mine. You may cover or uncover, your choice. But I am going to count. I'm going to count to 10. And remember, your goal is to try to get to 3. If you can get to 10 or even higher, that's wonderful. But if you can't, just remember we're going for 3. So go ahead and put your flute up. Get into position. And I'm going to count to 3, and then we're going to come in. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How did you do? Well, let's try one more time. Breathe normally for a minute. Take some nice normal breaths, and we're going to do it again. This time I'll just say ready, go. Get your flute into position. I'll say ready, go. Don't forget to take a deep breath and then go as many seconds as you can. So let's take a deep breath now. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Our last exercise before we put the flute together is the back and forth that we talked about last time. We are going to start with the head joint covered and go to uncovered, but we're going to change it up a little bit this time. This time we're going to do this pattern. So cover, cover, uncover, and we're going to do that 4 times. This is just to change it up. 4 times after I say ready, go. 1, 2, ready, go. Very good. Take a rest, breathe normally. And we're going to try the opposite. We'll try uncover, uncover, cover, which sounds like this. 4 times. Position. And 1, 2, ready, go. Very good. Here's a quick refresher on hand position before we progress to the first note. We're assuming that your flute is already properly aligned. With your right hand, put that pinky on the first key on the foot joint. Next 3 fingers go on the next 3 round keys, which are on the body. Left hand on that paddle-shaped key. Left hand, we are skipping the first key. Index finger goes on the 2nd key, skipping the 3rd key. Middle finger goes on the 4th key, and your ring finger goes on the 5th key. And you can rest your pinky right here. That's just basic hand position. Now, if you press all these keys together and try to make a sound, you might not be able to make a sound. This is not a note that you typically learn until you've been playing for at least a year. It's called high E flat. So here we go. It's time to talk about fingerings on the flute. I am attaching a fingering chart to this lesson that you should print out and keep with you when you are practicing. Before we do anything else, I want to explain how the fingering chart works. You've noticed I've drawn B, A, and G, and then a series of dots that are either filled in or not, and those represent your fingers. So first things first, there's a line in the middle of each one. That is the separation between your left and right hands. You'll notice on this side is your left hand. This side is your right hand. And that's because when we're holding the flute, that is how it will feel. Left hand, right hand. So this is the closest approximation that we can get. If you see a circle that is filled in, that means that finger is pressed down. Circles that are not filled in indicate that those fingers are not pressing down those keys. One thing you will notice is that I did not draw a circle for every single key on the flute. There are many more keys on the flute that you just don't see up there. And the reason I didn't draw them in is because if you don't put your fingers on them, there's really no point in drawing them and it just gets confusing. So let's talk about the different keys and what they mean. On the left hand, we have I, M, R. That stands for index, middle, ring. On the right hand, we also have I, M, R, index, middle, ring. Your pinky is shown by a vertical paddle-shaped key, and your thumb is shown by a horizontal paddle-shaped key. This is the system that I will always use, and most fingering charts that you might find online are very similar. So let's take a look at the note B. It looks like on the left hand, we press down the index finger, the thumb key, and the pinky. So here is what I suggest. As you get your fingers into position, I would suggest balancing your head joint on your shoulder so that your flute doesn't fall. And I'm actually going to turn around so you can see my fingers from this angle, and then I'll turn back forwards. So here we go. So here we go, the note B. You'll notice the thumb is pressed down. I'm pressing my paddle-shaped thumb key. I am pressing then my index finger on my left hand, and that is it. The other fingers on that hand should be curved gently above the keys. I will show you what this looks like from the front view in a minute. With the right hand, we are only going to press the pinky. And that is that key right here. That's the first one we learned how to place. Again, the other fingers should be curved gently above the keys, about an inch or so. I'm going to turn back around. Please balance carefully, and this may take you a few tries to get stable. Turning back around, here's what it looks like from the front. Look how close my fingers are to the keys. Remember basic hand position. I'm still in the saddle. And here is what B sounds like. Now that's the end result. It may take you a few more extra minutes than usual to get your flute positioned on your lip, because now your hands are way over here instead of here. Again, be patient, line up. If this method, the fingernail method, isn't working, use the kiss and roll method to find your spot. And here again is what B sounds like. Now you'll notice it's a lowish sound. If you are getting a high sound like this, it's okay for now. The fingering for low B and high B is the same. We will be learning both notes eventually, so be happy with whichever one you get for now. Let's do B one more time. Line up, position, and here's B. Very good. I hope you had some luck producing the note B. We're now going to A, which is right here underneath. Again, I'm going to show you the back view and then the front view. With A, we have our thumb key on our left hand pressed down, plus the index finger and the middle finger. This is all on the left hand. On the right hand, we still only have the pinky key pressed down. I promise eventually we will use these other keys, just not yet, not today. And in a minute we'll do G, but let's try A. So I am pressing down my thumb key, index finger, and middle finger. And my ring finger and my pinky are still just hanging out, gently curved above the keys. My right hand only has my pinky pressed down. These fingers are relaxed and easy above the keys. I'll turn around now. Please just take a minute and double check that your thumb is in the right position on your right hand. Remember, that is responsible for mostly balancing your flute. If this is over here, it's going to be hard to hold. Same thing if it's over here, that's also going to be hard to hold. So just check in real quick on your thumb position. Here's what A looks like from the front. Right hand pinky, left hand is thumb, index finger, and middle finger. Carefully bring your flute up. We'll try the kiss and roll. And when you feel like you've got your flute in control and it's resting on your chin, between your chin and your lip, let's blow. You might get a low sound, or you might get a high sound. Again, either one of those is fine for now. Let's try one more time. Let's make a low sound. I'll count to 3, take a deep breath, and play it for as long as you can. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Let's do a few short ones. Practice with me. And let's put down your flute. Now, before we go on to the note G, you may find that your hands are starting to hurt a little bit. That's normal. You've never held your hands in this position for anything in your life, most likely before this point. So it's very important to take breaks and to stretch out your fingers if your hands start to get sore. So here's a very easy one. Put your flute down safely before we do these, please. We can just shake it out. Put the flute down and just shake it out. That feels good. It loosens up the muscles. And then here's another important one. Stretch out your arm like this. And then your other arm. And then you can also stretch the opposite way. And let's give it one more shake. And if after you do those things, you can roll your shoulders, and then we should be ready to go on to the note G. Hang in there, we're almost done with this lesson. We are going to try the note G. In the next lesson, we'll try putting these notes together and maybe perhaps form a song, I hope. All right, so looking at the note G, we have our thumb on our left hand pressed down. We have all 3 fingers pressed down except not the pinky yet. Right hand, we only still have the pinky pressed down. So what that will look like is thumb on the left hand. Top is index, middle, and ring are all pressed down. Notice my pinky is still hanging out above. You can wave your pinky at me, say hello. And then on your right hand, just press your pinky and I will turn around. And remember, please, that all of your fingers always stay on these keys. Later on, as I mentioned before, we will go down to these keys with your right hand pinky, but other than that, the original hand position I taught you is the one that we will always keep. Your fingers will never move to different keys ever. So once you've got your G position, I've got another one here. Once you've got your G position, lift it up carefully. Position. Take a deep breath and blow. And try again. You might get a high one or a low one. This is what the high one sounds like. And either one of those is just fine. Now you'll notice my flute is ever so slightly tilted down. That is my normal playing position. You may find that your normal position is more parallel to the floor, and that's okay. And slightly down is okay. What we want to avoid is 2 things. We want to avoid an upwards angle, like this. And we want to avoid a very slanted angle like this. For instance, if your right elbow is touching your side when you play, that is too much of an angle. So again, parallel is okay, or just slightly down. And you'll notice I usually play slightly down. So that was your quick introduction to the first 3 notes on the flute, which are B, A, and G. At the next lesson, we are going to use these notes for more exercises so you can get more comfortable with using these 3 notes before we go on to more difficult notes. And we will also, I hope, learn Mary Had a Little Lamb and Hot Cross Buns. So as usual, keep practicing and be patient with yourself and you will succeed. See you next time.